Hey everybody, welcome to Glory Hunters. I am here with Green Man and Glory Hunter N on Twitter, or Glory Hunter Nick. And this is my little passion, my football, soccer passion project. And we're going to be talking about the biggest stuff that happened this weekend in football. In fact, let's just get right into it now. A spectacular game in England, semifinal for FA Cup. How do I say it correctly? Coventry. Who has Haji Wright, who's a guy that Greg Berhalter for us Americans out there is putting a lot of faith in. He's looked really good for Team USA, but he's also a big part of this Coventry team, and he had a big impact in this game, scoring the equalizing penalty and potentially scoring the fourth goal in about 20 minutes in the last half. But it was pulled away due to being, and am I exaggerating, an ass hair offsides. Quite literally an ass hair. And let me start with you, Green Man. I know you're super upset about it, and I'm upset about it too. And as you can see here, it was so, everybody thought it was so done. ESPN FC posted, Coventry has done the impossible, 3 goals down, they've come back and eliminated Man U. How do you feel about this going forward? It was a real disappointment. I knew once they went to extra time that, I mean, going up against Onana, and the quality of the Man U had, I thought they were skunked. What's the bigger picture here, Green Man, for this particular competition?
I've said it before. The game's finished.
It's done. Why don't we just quit? Let's turn it off. Thank you very much, everybody.
Just do what you do. Subscribe to this channel and then turn off the video. Okay? But no seriousness, I think it just ruins the game, man. I get it, it's probably a pure pair offside, but fuck's sake, bro. If this is what VAR is, man, fair enough, but I don't. Do you think that benefited the game, man? No, it didn't.
No, I don't think so.
Well.
I don't think it benefited the game at all. My argument with you is rules are rules. Now, we had an argument, a friendly argument, a couple weeks ago about a new type of offsides. That new type of offsides that you disagreed with would have allowed this to be a goal. Have you changed your mind since? I mean, where are you at? I mean, I got to be honest with you. I think if to me, I think offsides got to be past the defender, but that's not what the rule is currently.
I think we need to change the rule. I was against changing it because I was worried that we're going to see teams just sit back and play deep. But I don't know, that Man U game was end to end there, and if you can encourage more football like that, man, fucking hell, we'll take that all day.
Nick, what's got to be done is a rule change if you guys want to actually do something about this. Any rule change is considered American and turning into the Super League. Is this a problem? Do you keep it like it is? Because my thing is, whatever you decide to, you got to stick to and see it through. But really, the only way to solve this problem, if it is a problem, and I say that with a big question mark, what should be done, or is this just an unfortunate incident?
I think it's an unfortunate incident. I don't think the rule needs to change. I think you need to have a binary measurement for what is offside. It can't be something that's subjective. It can't be, you have to, anything over the line, over the defender's line, is offside. I think, it sucks that Coventry's goal was chalked off. We all wanted to see Coventry win that. It would have been a great moment, but he was offside, and we're going to have moments in the future where teams are saved by the same offside rule, and we're going to be praising the fact that VAR has managed to catch that. If that was Manchester United, who were for a goal and scored that, and it was called off, I bet you everybody would be praising VAR right now, because they would have been so glad that Coventry was saved by VAR enforcing the rules. But just because this time round it was Coventry being denied a great moment, all of a sudden VAR's the villain for enforcing the rules.
I think you're absolutely right about the VAR being the villain here, but I will say this: we grew up, all of us. You guys are a lot young. You're a lot younger than me. We all grew up where offsides was subjective, and you guys hated it. So now it's got to be binary. Is there a middle ground, like the offsides rule that we mentioned in the podcast we did 2 weeks ago? I mean, that is a little subjective too, because it's not as subjective, because as long as you're in line with the defender, you're still onside, even if you have like a leg over or something like that. And because I got to be honest with you, if you're gonna have toes offsides and game being decided by toes, I don't know if that's good for football long term.
But the thing is, right? Yeah, all right, that Coventry goal counts because you're not going
Oh, I agree with you. And by the way, I agree with you. That goal counts. The rules rule. That's not what I'm saying. Is that good for football? There's a different question.
Yeah, no, but what I'm going to say is, right, yeah, all right, now we have players being offside because they're toed, but in the future, we're going to have players offside because, like, oh, were they onside because the tip of their heel was in line with the defender or not?
Because everything. If you're in line at any level with the defender under that rule, you're onside.
But yeah, that's what I mean. If you're stood in front of the defender, but all right, the tiniest bit of your
no, you make a good point.
It's the same sort of situation. Just instead of it being your toe, it's the back of the player. I don't think that's the solution. I think the rule is completely fine as it is, and we should just suck it up with. All right, yeah, it's a shame Coventry's goal didn't stand, but we need a rule. There's no problem with the rule in my eyes, and I think it's being enforced perfectly with VAR, and I think we just need to learn to live with that.
Green Man, did you want to reply to that? It sounded like you did.
I tell Nick to stop being so reasonable. We need to argue. What the fuck are you doing here? Like, say something controversial. No, obviously that makes a lot of sense. God damn it, Nick.
I think what Nick kind of proves is there's no answer that's going to A, satisfy to everybody, and B, be perfect. There has to be. That's why I'm a little. I'm willing to take my chances with the new rules, so to speak, which probably is not going to come into effect realistically, but at least it goes back to an age. Look, there was tons of offsides, calls blown. There's every single game they blow a throw in, and they blow a throw in and a corner kick, which can be detrimental to any team, especially in the 80 or the 75th minute and above. So I think we accepted human error for so many years, and then we had this technology, and we thought to ourselves, no, now we don't have to have this problem again. But like chaos theory says, we just have a bunch of new problems or problems we couldn't predict. We do have to settle on something, Green Man. Is that unfair?
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I think when it comes down to it, there needs to be a rule. But at the end of the day, I think VAR's the problem there. I think things like that are so tight, and if you're going to pull up a computer screen, get your ruler out, and you're trying to find the line on the pitch, I think that's a bit too much, man. I don't know. Maybe this is completely out of left field, but I think it should be left to the officials on the field. And the officials on the field didn't see anything blatantly wrong.
No, they
with
didn't.
That goal.
In fairness.
We hope probably in the past, if it before VAR, probably wouldn't have seen anything blatantly wrong with that goal. It's only since VAR that we micro-analyse everything, and if that's the way people want to take it, fair enough, man. But I think that's for nerds, to be honest. Let's get football back to being for. Do you know what I mean? See, if that was a goal in the schoolyard, it would have standed.
Of course.
That's what matters.
Of course. The problem is something has to be binary. But you have to either leave it up. But here's the thing. I'll meet you halfway on the VAR thing. How about this? We keep it for penalties. Give it. Let it be a judgment call on the field, or we let it be a judgment call on the field unless it's gross, like a full length over. Then VAR sends it back. But if it's anywhere close, VAR doesn't consult the referee. Can we meet halfway? Because I'm sorry, there's a lot of good things about VAR. VAR would have prevented, was it John Terry in 2010, if I'm not mistaken? John Terry, or I knew it was a Chelsea player, went in and out against Germany. Frank Lampard, NYCFC asshole. Yeah. Frank Lampard, that wouldn't happen. That disgusted me. That got me out of football. I was like, good Jesus. When that happened, I was like, we don't have this problem in the NHL. Where are you guys? And I start to wonder, maybe they don't want it to be. They want it to be subjective so they can get the results they want. After I watched that, who did Barcelona lose to? That referee in that game? Win that Champions League game. Who did they lose to? PSG. That was disgusting, that game. I mean, right down to referee to a goalie intimidation during that penalty. Something seemed up there.
The PSG Newcastle game as well.
Yeah. The PS, there was
A lot
some.
of subjective decisions there. The penalty got them out into the knockout round. So I don't know. I think obviously that's right. You're always going to get corruption, but at the same time, do we need? I think the nerds micro-analyze and stuff, and the computer might not help stuff with corruption.
You know what the thing is? I kind of agree with it's so weird. I can't agree with both of you logically, but I do agree with both of you because I absolutely believe there has to be a set rule, and I also believe this set rule is ruining the damn game. And it's like Green Man said, it's on the schoolyard. There's got to be a happy medium, but it takes so long to make these changes. And I will say this, and this is where I will disagree with Green Man on the money. VAR made the game better. It brought me back. The penalty box Champions League is watchable again. It didn't turn into a damn pool in the 80th minute. Those things are really, really good things. And also, you're seeing more English teams make deep runs in the Champions League, unlike you did 10 years ago. I wonder why that was. So there's got to be a happy medium. The problem is the people in FIFA and UEFA are just so ridiculously corrupt, and probably, if they're not corrupt, terribly incompetent. I don't think that's really off to say, but there is more controversy when it comes to VAR because the English can't work it. We don't have any problem here in Germany with it, but the English for some reason can't work computers. They're like your grandpa. No, you click the left button. All right, you want to close it, upper right hand corner, click. Nottingham Forest. I watched it myself. 3 penalties. Was it all the same player against Everton? 3 penalties. Which player was that?
Ashley Young.
Ashley Young
was the Everton player.
Ashley, well, yeah, the one. Oh, the Everton player. What I'm talking about, the one foul on Gino Reyna. 3 penalties looked like they were that they were not given, which would have completely changed the game for Nottingham Forest. The director of Nottingham Forest came out, claimed that they had warned VAR not to put this particular VAR judge in there because he was a Luton fan. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. I certainly think it's concerned. I know in Germany, if you list, you actually give a list to the team you grew up or follow. You are not allowed to ref those games or even their derbies or anything like that. I don't think it should be any different inside of our room. You're technically, you are an official. You are a referee. What went wrong here, Nick? And was this guy right to speak out? Because I personally don't have a problem with it at all, unlike Gary Neville.
Well, clearly, like, we watched the highlights just before this, just to go back over it, and all 3 of us thought they were definitely penalties.
All 3.
You know, or maybe they missed one of them, but all 3, to miss all 3 is like seriously like gross incompetence. So I'm not really sure what the hell happens there with VAR, but yeah, I think that's completely fair for Nottingham Forest to be kicking up a fuss and making a big deal out of this because VAR was put there in place to stop these exact things happening. If Forest now go down because they lost the points against Everton in this game where those penalties could have made a difference, that's massive loss of earnings they're going to get by being relegated. And that's, it could just come down to VAR, which should have been there to say, look, these are penalties, and it's failed. So, yeah, I think that's completely fair from Nottingham Forest to kick up a fuss.
Green Man, is this much to do about nothing, or is there a real problem here that needs to be addressed?
It's nothing, man.
Really?
I think they're clutching at straws here because they've spent like £100 million and could be going down.
But you did see that you watched the penalties with us; they were blatant.
Yeah, like obviously it's just a bad call.
3 with VAR? 3?
If the VAR's made the decision, man, like this is what I'm saying. Are we going to start? Okay, so like if VARs now can't be trusted, what are we going to get in? Are we going to get AI instead of officials next? Where do we stop? Okay.
Nottingham requested this guy be removed prior to the game, and they were ignored.
It's because they're a bunch of flakes. The guy's a professional. Are they insinuating he's cheating?
I don't understand why that's ridiculous. You can't be. If I'm a Liverpool fan and I grew up in Liverpool, I can't do a Liverpool Man U derby. Why can he do one?
That's not. Because he's a professional at what he does. Regardless of that, he's going to put his biases by the side and go in there. If you're saying that he in that game was cheating because he wanted to help Bolton FC, Well, there needs to be a full investigation.
I would agree with that.
Legend, right? I think that's very serious. I don't think that's the case. I think sometimes people make bad decisions. If VAR wasn't there and he was refereeing that game, they would say, "Oh, we need VAR to fix this issue." Well, now you've got VAR, you're complaining about the people who's
Fair
on it.
enough.
So what's next?
Fair enough, but I'm all for situations like this, sensitive situations that are being looked into. Here's what I'm not. I think it's okay to complain about this, especially if there was a complaint going into this. And here's another thing: you guys have had a problem with VAR in the UK. We're not having a problem with it in Germany. I don't think they're having much of a problem with it in Scotland. And it's brandy dandy new. It only came in halfway through the season last year. What's going on in the UK? The best sports league in the world can't handle it. I know MLS doesn't have a problem with it. We never have an issue with it. So this happens. What I want to say, because Gary Neville is, I find him. I mean, he's really good and smart, and there's a lot of things he does. I loved his interview with Bastian Schweinsteiger, which I want to talk to you guys about just after this. But here's what he said. It's a horrendous statement by a football club. It lets the proud history of them down. We're talking about a red herring. They inferred cheating as suggested by Luton. By a Luton fan being a VAR official is absolutely ridiculous. Well, I don't see why it's ridiculous. He also asked for this guy to resign and step down. Here's the thing about Gary Neville that I don't understand. The asking, is this a new thing in the Western world? By accusing impropriety?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I'm sorry. This is suspicious. At very least, you admitted this is worth an investigation. Here's the thing. No. Neville has more of a problem with the appearance of a problem. You're whether there is a problem or not, he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care at all. So he's more caring about the integrity of the game. Well, here's another thing would create the integrity of the game: a full investigation. That's not an unreasonable thing since they requested.
One second, Tommy. If he was really concerned with the integrity of the game, why would he go on live national TV and undermine the said integrity of the game by questioning it?
No, I'm talking about Neville. Neville says you keep quiet because you're screwing up the integrity of the game. It's like it's like to question a completely wild situation. There's not one goal here. There's three. It's three. Oh. You have every right to say something. You have every right to infer. Or you have every right to say this should be looked into. You have every right to complain when there's that kind of gross incompetence, and there should be an investigation. Is this more than gross incompetence? Now, Green Man, you might be right, but let's look into it. Gary Neville, he doesn't want to do that. He's more upset with you talking about it.
I don't think people should be talking about it.
Yeah, shut up. Well, so we should lose a job?
No, I get people like us should be talking about it, and it should be mentioned, and if the Nottingham Forest come forward and accusate. But I think Nottingham Forest are at fault here. They've legitimised this full bullshit conversation by putting in a complaint.
You know why they legitimised it? Because it's legitimate. It's legitimate. It's a legitimate thing to be concerned about because it happened 3 times. If it happened once, I'm right with you. It's because it's 3. It's that we're going beyond the laws of averages here. I'm sorry. If this happened to Celtic, you'd have been up in arms.
Hey, that's because I'm a biased person. I would. Do you know what I mean? A Celtic player could dive, man. I'd be shouting for a red card.
And football's dead, correct?
Well, football's dead. I think more we would go into this video. Honestly, the man watch, you should just subscribe and click off, honestly.
Okay. There's not. Oh, I wanted to talk about Bastian Schweinsteiger real quick with you guys. Did you see the interview with Gary Neville? Really, really good, by the way. I know I just bashed the guy, but he's a good journalist. I'm not going to say that. Bastian Schweinsteiger talked about being a Man United. I think it was 2016. He starts the season. He goes in the locker room. Somebody comes up to him and says, "You can't go in there. You need to be training with the kids." And he's like, "What? What's going on?" And I can't tell you, which is pretty lousy considering it's a player of. It's really lousy for any player. It doesn't matter if you're a World Cup winner or anything like that. Schweinsteiger went in there and did what he had to do. Eventually worked his way back on the team and was apologized to by Jose Mourinho at the end of the season because of his treatment. I have a theory on this. You guys, Green Man, I want to see if I'm wrong. I get the feeling Mourinho was in a meeting with United and he heard they wanted to find a way to get rid of Schweinsteiger. I could see Mourinho, I'll get rid of him. He's probably an egomaniac. I'll put him with the kids. He'll have a free kill, go to the press. And his behavior with the press, we'll use that for a reason to terminate his contract and get rid of him. Shows you what Jose Mourinho knows if my speculation is correct. And that's the wrong guy. That's the guy that's going to go work with the kids and take the humiliation and work his way back in the lineup. Either way, the talk around town is this, and this happened a long time. 2016 was a long time ago. Is this is my question to you, an example of the sort of cultural rot, which is awful subjective, that's going on in United, and the fact that they're really not a top flight team anymore? They're just below the top flight.
Yes and no. I think it's both parts. I think Jose Mourinho was part to blame. Like, if you look how Jose Mourinho treated Juan Mata, for instance, like, Juan Mata was one of the best players on the earth, and Jose Mourinho sacked them twice. Do you know what I mean? So I think Jose Mourinho sometimes comes into a squad and picks somebody to make an example of, to assert his authority.
Wrong guy. Wrong guy. I could have told you. I don't know my neighbor at all, right? I probably know him as well as I know Schweinsteiger. I could have told you that was the wrong guy to pick. Absolutely the wrong guy.
6'4" German that had a mentality monster. No, you're telling me that.
He's a good guy, Schweinsteiger. He's one of those guys that makes Germany proud.
Intelligent guy.
Yeah, a smart guy. He's a tough guy. And that's the way you do it. And you consider he was a I think he probably, so this is a multi-millionaire spoiled brat kid, and he's going to have a fit, and he didn't. He did the right thing. And then it comes down to, why are you treating anybody like that? Just kick him off the fucking team, for Christ's sakes. Nick?
Yeah, I fully agree that it does seem like there's a pattern with Mourinho sort of doing this at clubs, and so he's certainly to blame. But it sounds like this wasn't just Mourinho though. Like, from the way he was talking, and it did sound like it was a Man United thing. And like, to treat a World Cup winner with all the success that Schweinsteiger had like that, really, it reflects terribly on the club, really, that, you would take such a highly respected figure in football and treat him so terribly.
You don't treat Schweini like this. You don't treat him like that. You know where he came from. He won more than you. All right, there you go. There's my little fit for the day. Yesterday, I sprayed myself with ref foam.
A good player.
I love the guy. He was just a class act. Kind of remind, like, he was our Harry Kane over here in a lot of ways.
Do you know that Real Madrid, like, everyone talks about that Real Madrid team and that Barcelona team of that period, man? That Bayern Munich team was just as good.
Yeah. Oh, I would agree with you. I would absolutely
Do you know what I mean?
agree.
Like Philip Lam and all that, and like Thomas Müller. And
if you ask any United fan, everybody had a good experience with Schweini being over there. They loved him. They thought he was a great. They felt lucky to have him. And he was coming to the end. His legs were going the whole nine. And I think Schweini produced. It was a terrible way to go out. And then shortly after that, he ended up in the Chicago Fire in the retirement home. And I'm sure he was a lot more appreciated in Chicago than he was in United by the upper. The fans seemed to like him. It just didn't seem like people like Jose Mourinho. But Mourinho's run wasn't super duper successful.
Are we being too sentimental here?
Well, maybe.
Like,
I am a little sentimental with that, because I remember I remember the kid since he was 18. I remember 2006. I remember all the promise that he brought. I watched him just win and win and win, and then I am very biased, I'll be honest, for guys that go to the MLS. It makes me full of pride, and the fact that he's a guy from the country I live in now in Germany, and he goes to MLS to give them his last little bit. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'm insulted. And I'm glad it's out there now. I'm glad it's out there, and I'm glad it's already been resolved too. He waited years to talk about it. It's already good with Mourinho, So
I think if you look at it, okay, and if you look at it from Man United's point of view, and you've got this guy who's on like 300 grand a week, would you not want rid of him?
That's irrelevant. This used to be a class organization. That's not a class move.
That's true.
No, like that's my only point. Sure. Like, people got to go. People get their contracts cut. Feelings get hurt. I get that. So does Schweini. I think he got that too. And he also went in there, played with the kids, and worked it out. He even talked about like how mad he was, how they had a rotten practice that game. Who wouldn't? But he worked it through. That's a guy you want in your team. Compare that to, I don't know, Kai Havertz. And some of his attitude. I'm not so. I don't know. I'm not super happy with the. Although, let's talk about the new German. But let's talk about one of the new Germans. It looked over. Dortmund up 1-0. The Leverkusen invincible record on the line. And I don't know if he scored the goal, but he was definitely a part of it. This man right here, Florian Wirtz, who I think right now, not all season, is the best player in Europe, best player on the planet. Right now.
Actually.
Right now. This moment, he's the best player. This guy bails him out of everything. It's absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to let you know that the head of Bayern Leverkusen said he's non-transferable. He's off the market completely. We're keeping him. That's it. We're going to run it out if we have to, which I think is a great sign. If only they can keep a bunch of other players as Xabi Alonso, maybe they can really do some damage in the Champions League next year. What do you think about Leverkusen's run and how they're doing things, and Xabi staying here in general, and Florian Wirtz as a player on the European scene right now? Green Man.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. Everything they do turns to gold. Do you know what I mean? Xavi Alonso is the guy who can't do wrong right now. He's got a team of like young kids that'll play. I can't say I've like watched them and know about.
Sure.
I'm quite surprised to hear you say that. Actually, I'm very surprised. In my head, he's like leaving in the top 15 best players in Europe. But maybe that's just because I've not watched them. I'm not. That's like a random number. But if you like, you ask me who's like the best players in Europe, I would go like Harry Kane, Haaland, Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Bellingham.
When I say best player, look, I think Mbappe's the best player on the planet. Okay, the best young player on the planet.
I get what you're saying.
I'm talking about like in the moment in the last month or so. This guy has done more for his team than any. Bellingham's gone cold. This guy's never been cold. This guy has an undefeated season, and we've said before. Actually, Nick, I'm not totally crazy here. He said if for some miracle he pulls off this type of treble, and he's a major factor in a German win in the Euros, I think you got to start talking. He's got to be at least in the running in the Ballon d'Or at that point. But he has to be a major contributor as well. I mean, then I think you have to start talking best player in Europe. I don't think that's completely out of the realm. I don't think he's there yet, but I think right now at this moment, there's nobody I want my team more. This guy is, there's players out there that are clutch, that score, that are not always skilled. But they tend to show up in big games, and you always say about them, remember that one guy, he didn't do shit for years, but he scored that one goal? Everybody has that guy, and he's like a local hero or something like this. I think Florian Wirtz is somebody that is clutch and has great quality, and that's really, really, really rare. I mean, the kind of guys that have that? Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Lionel Messi. They're the ones that have that kind of gift. Even great players don't have that gift where they're clutch and they're... I really want to check that. Did he score that final goal? I don't think he did, but I think he contributed to it.
It was Stanisic that scored the goal, but Wirtz won the corner. And I think
Wirtz won the corner. Okay, yeah, but no, I think the guy has just been amazing. It's just like, I mean, he does seem to be one of those guys, sort of Jordan-esque. Give the ball to me. I'll make it happen. He does. They were in the 90th minute. They tied it up to keep the invincible record going. Probably a little off. Right there, yes, it's Stanek. Okay, yeah, he's got it. Also, Fulkrug, and this is a good game right until the end. Fulkrug pox at 81, and Stanek does 90+7. It really was a spectacular game. Who wants to start this up? Jose Mourinho in Liverpool. Does it mean anything, Green Man?
I don't think so. I think Nick said something about a Turkish manager being there earlier on as well.
Yeah, Vincenzo Montella was there at the game with Mourinho.
Can you guys give me some background on him?
What, Montella?
Yeah.
Well, he's current Turkish manager. He's doing pretty well for Turkey as well, to be fair. But he was previously like Fiorentina manager. He might have managed Italy at one point. I forget. I just know he's famously had time at Fiorentina prior to Turkey. Nothing too special.
Okay. Green Man.
Yeah, I would just agree with Nick. I can't see either of these guys getting the job. I can see both these guys wanting the job and wanting to people in the media to think they're like up in the run for the job. So they're like, maybe like their publicist has told them, hey, go sit in the crowd for this game, and then people will go talk about who you're going to become the manager. I think that's more likely, and maybe that's a bit cynical. But yeah, I can see Jose wanting the Liverpool job, but why would they want him? It's like an ex-Manchester United manager. It can only go wrong for them.
Is this a result of maybe looking at managers on a slightly lower level because Xabi didn't take the job? I think Liverpool was pretty convinced they were going to get Xabi from Leverkusen. They didn't. Are they thinking about going a little, bringing back Mourinho, maybe taking a chance at a turf as manager? Did they kind of, is this just the after effect of Jurgen Klopp leaving, or are they not attracting good managers anymore, Nick?
I think they are attracting good managers. I think they were just unlucky with Xabi. He's clearly committed to that Leverkusen side. He's got such a good thing going that he had Bayern Munich after him as well, and he's turned them down.
And also put them in a bad spot. I think that's what I should have said. He's put Bayern. Has he put Liverpool in a bad spot by not taking the job?
I don't think so. I think Liverpool is one of those jobs that they're always going to have quality options looking for it. Mourinho and Montero are there, sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like Green Man said, it's their agents like, oh yeah, go to that game. People will see how they'll start talking, and maybe that'll put the idea in the Liverpool management. Oh, what about Mourinho? But I don't think that's going to happen. They've been linked with other managers like Ruben Amorim in Portugal. He's won 2 titles with Sporting CP recently. You have Arne Slot, who has been doing a really good job with Feyenoord, won the title there. I think there's certainly going to be a lot of bigger, better managers than
it is Liverpool.
Mourinho's still there.
I'm really playing devil's advocate. It is Liverpool. I'm sure they'll get a good manager. Green Man, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think he's spot on. I think there's people in the running for that job we probably don't know about. If Jose Mourinho does get the job, however, I would fucking love it. I think that would be so crazy.
Entertaining.
Yeah, it'd be entertaining. So now that we've mentioned it, hopefully Agent Jose is there and we're going to see some crazy shit. But no, I don't think so, man. Right. It'd be like something from WWE if he came out for Liverpool.
I know. I don't know. It also is a step back up. I don't know if I want it for Liverpool, because if I had a Prem team to pick, that's who I'd pick. Because Mourinho's so volatile. But I definitely think that he's earned his way back with the success he had at Roma. Roma was kind of a step down for him from even a Tottenham, a Chelsea, a Man United, and he kind of earned his way back in that sense. I like to give him a second shot. I heard he's washed. I heard his tactics don't work. The games passed him by, which does happen. I want to see if that's true. I want to see him get a Prem team and see if that's true. If he runs away with the league next year, it's not true. He wasn't washed. So it would be kind of interesting. That being said, I want to talk about the channel a little bit. We did the Super Classico last night. Boca Juniors for River Plate. My first Super Classico. It was ran simultaneously with El Clasico, which turns out to be a fantastic game that exploded. And was it Vinicius popped that last goal in the
It was Bellingham.
Bellingham. Jude Bellingham. Yeah. Jude Bellingham. I think with an assist from Vinicius popped it up. Real great game. But I got to tell you, and we did a watch along here because we like to do weird games. I've kind of enabled the channel to do that. If you want to do watch alongs with us, join our Discord. You might see the game. There's a way to do it, I swear to God. And you also can watch games with us in Discord. Become a Glory Hunter Junior and join the Discord. And then maybe you can be like our Leech, who really killed it. Really killed it yesterday as far as bringing his knowledge of the German game. And he knows regional leagues from Turkey, for Christ's sakes. It's amazing what the guy knows. Do you have anything to end with, Green Man?
Yeah, subscribe to the channel. If Jose gets become Liverpool manager, you're going to make the craziest podcast you've ever seen, and the game will be alive again.
The game will be alive again. Do you like that because it's entertaining, or do you think it's good at Liverpool? I can't see Liverpool fans liking that.
No,
it's just entertaining, all right.
Yes.
It's not going to happen. All right, keep in mind, Jose Mourinho he could have just went to the game, and he could have been looking for a job. Who knows? I mean, the guy's got to eat. Thank you so much for being a part of the Glory Hunter podcast. We got lots of stuff coming. Watch-alongs, potential rants. I want to get Green Man to make Celtic rants if he can ever get around to doing it. I'd be happy to edit it for him. If you want to be a part of this, either make it shorts or be a part of the cast, jump in, hang out. Usually on Saturdays, we got stuff going all day. Everything from Argentina to MLS to the Prem to the Bundesliga. It's all going on right here. I want you to be a part of it, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much, and good night.